Oh, wow. Okay. There was 20 that signed up.
Good morning and welcome to How to Get WBE Certified at WBEC ORV. I will pull up my slides and we will get started. Can you tell me, are you seeing the entire screen or just the first slide?
I can see the whole screen and with the slides on the side.
Okay, so we're going to do, there we go. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So this is how to become WBE certified with WBEC ORV. I'm Colleen Rudisell, the Director of Certification and Outreach. This is our agenda for this morning's meeting. We're going to talk about WBEC ORV, understanding supplier diversity. What is a WBE? The WBE and WOSB eligibility, but the benefits of being certified through WBEC. We'll go through the application process, the steps, the cost, the importance of using WBEC Link, the documents required, our confidentiality and privacy. And what I was just telling Chris before we started recording is if you have questions about your business and you're going to do like a deep dive into your taxes or how the legal documents are set up, that actually is considered confidential information. We can set up a one-on-one meeting to go over that. So make sure it's a generalized question because this is a recording and other people will have access to it. And we're very big on making sure we keep everything as confidential and private as possible. And then if you need help, how to contact us, and then what happens after you get certified. So WBEC was started in 1997. It is the largest third-party certifier of businesses that are owned, operated, controlled, and managed by women in the United States. And one of the things I want to point out on the third-party certifier is we are independent. We are not government contract. The government doesn't support us. We're independent. So like if you get state certified, the government covers the cost. WBEC, your processing fee covers the cost for us to process your application. So WBEC, this is the mission to fuel economic growth through access to opportunities and certifying and facilitating the development of women-owned businesses. And when we say global, we have a partner organization called We Connect that certifies women-owned businesses outside of the US. And so and many of our corporations recognize We Connect and WBEC. So for example, P&G, Toyota, Honda, they're global companies. So if you're working on their marketing campaign here in the US, your marketing may actually be overseas somewhere. And the core platform, our first thing is certification. Then there's opportunities, the resources for your business, and then engagement, how to leverage your certification. And this year, we have hit over 20,000 certified WBEs in the nation. We have over 550 corporate members. And when I say corporate members, I'm not just talking about the P&Gs of the world. I'm also talking about government and educational institutions. And then WBEC itself is made up of 14 regional partner organizations, of which WBEC ORV is one of them. And we are one national organization. So here's the network. And our big thing is we are WBEC. No matter which organization RPO you end up with. So for example, we certify Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia. If you move your headquarters to California, you would either be WBEC West or WBEC Pacific, depending upon where you are in California. But we're all national. We're all certified WeBank WBEs. And so you can use your certification across the nation. And you can go to other RPOs on their networking events and the open to the WeBank National Conference and their programming and educational events as well. So WeBank, Ohio River Valley, we want to be your resource that you come to for your business development. And we want to lead through innovation, collaboration, and engage with our group of corporates and government institutions, the WBEs, and our advocates. We want to be the catalyst for growth and sustainability by adding more corporate partners and WBEs in Ohio, Kentucky, and West Virginia. And we do the certification, the WeBank certification. I just realized this slide is old. We do no longer work under the Urban League. We are an independent entity. As of December 31st, 2023, WeBank ORV is independent from the Urban League. However, we do partner with them. Just last month, I did the Walmart Black Women in Retail webinar to talk about certification with Ohio Minority Supplier Development Council. So we do partner with them. And we offer certification, business training and development, networking, and matchmaking events. And currently, there are over 1,100 certified WBEs in our region and over 70 corporate members. So what is supplier diversity? It's a business practice that ensures goods and services are derived from a diverse supplier base. Ideally, we would like that to reflect the communities that we're in. So it doesn't always guarantee contracts, but it does provide the opportunity to compete with other businesses and to make those connections with the supplier diversity individuals at the different corporates. And then many of the corporations and the government agencies, we'll talk a little bit about the WOSB for government contracting. They will have a certain spend that they will create to increase their diverse suppliers in their supply chains. And then WeBank is the largest national certifier of women-owned businesses. As you saw on the other slide, we have over 20,000 WBEs across the nation. And then there's many organizations that require that you be WeBank certified. My previous experience, I was in supplier diversity with a corporate for 9 years. And one of our families of business was the tech team, and one of their suppliers sold and was no longer certified, and they had in their clause that they had a 30-day to make those changes, which obviously they couldn't. So that contract became null and void after 30 days, and they found another diverse supplier to cover that. And it was a several $1,000,000 contract. So just keep that in mind, that if you do become certified and you're working with somebody and you're thinking about selling the business, can talk about succession planning, but if you're thinking about selling the business or making changes to the ownership, think about the impact it may have on your business if you make those changes. And then 7 things to know about supplier diversity. Every organization and state is different when it comes to supplier diversity in their program. So it's good to do research and read up on it, ask the questions if you need to. Your WeBank certification is recognized nationally, but some states may not want the WeBank certification for a certain RFP or RFQ. And what you want to do there is, when you do get the RFP, RFQ, you want to look to see what certifications they do accept. Now, WeBank ORV with the state of Ohio, if you're an Ohio resident and you are certified with WeBank ORV, you can apply for the state of Ohio's WBE certification. And it kind of fast tracks you through their process. And then it opens up the door for doing work with the state. And then there's reciprocity between the state of Ohio, some other states, and some of the cities in Ohio. So that can open up other opportunities. So if you get the state of Ohio WBE and you go to apply to Columbus, Ohio for their city WBE certification, then there's reciprocity with that, and they can work with you on that. We do not have reciprocity with anyone since we are a third party. And as I stated earlier, we are not government funded, but the cities and states are, so they can do that reciprocity. Being a WB is one way to be a diverse business. If you're considered a minority, that's another way to be considered a diverse business. There's also NGLCC, which is for the LGBT community. I'm sorry, I'm giving you alphabet soup today, but there's also the veterans certification as well. And then one of the things, supplier diversity is not just something to do that sounds good. It makes business sense because there's a lot of collaboration and innovation in the diverse community that you might not see in a legacy business. And you can have supplier diversity goals as well. When we list out who our corporate members are, you know that they will have woman-owned products on their shelves. You can buy from them. That will support the woman-owned business that also supports our corporates. Also, we have other ways of, if you go into WeBank Link and you need somebody to do marketing for you, we highly recommend going into WeBank Link and looking for another WBE that might be able to help you with construction, marketing, cybersecurity, IT. And I know I've been throwing out WBE a lot. WBE stands for Women's Business Enterprise. And what this says is, for the WeBank WBE certification, your business is at least 51 owned, operated, controlled, and managed by a female or female owners. A women's business enterprise is referred to as a WBE that is certified through WeBank. And then the WBE refers to the business, not an individual. So you will hear some women owners say, hey, I'm a WBE. It's actually their business. That's the WBE and not them, but it's all right. And then here is, there you go. Let me see if I can go back. Here is, if you see this on the bottom right-hand corner where it says certified WeBank, if you're shopping at Walmart or Kroger or Meijer, if you see this on a product, know that they are certified WeBank product. And I will shop like that. I turn it around, and if I'm looking at Whirly Bird granola or some other brand, Whirly Bird has the certified WeBank seal on it. I will buy that over the other brand, even if it's a couple of dollars more, because I know I'm supporting a woman-owned business. So here is the eligibility requirements. You must be a for-profit independent business. You must be 51% owned, operated, controlled, and managed by a woman or women. Female owners must be a U.S. citizen or a legal permanent resident. The female owners or another woman must hold the highest title. Owner must display evidence of legal and managerial control and display evidence of contribution of capital and or expertise. And the business must demonstrate independence and ability to function on its own. And another question we usually get is, I'm under $1 million, or I just started last month. WeBank, we take them all. It doesn't matter the size or how long you've been in business. And this is a little bit different than some other certifying agencies. There's some that need you to be in business 1 to 2 years before you can apply. So keep that in mind if you are a startup. You can get the WBE certification and start ramping your business up and then establish that. And then if you qualify for some of the other certifications, then you can go from there. And one thing I will tell you, a lot of the documents that we ask for at WeBank are these same exact documents that they ask for in the other agencies. And they're mostly your business documents. So we always say, put them all in a digital file, have them ready to go. Because once you do one certification, you pretty much do them all. And so now I'm going to talk a little bit about the WOSB. It is for the women-owned small business. This is for federal government contracting. So if you do construction and you want to do work on the Brent Bridge project that is coming up, I think they've already started on some of the planning projects. This is something that you want to add to your certification. If you decide to go with the WeBank WBE, you can add it into the certification. There is no additional charge for us to process this. If you decide you don't want to do that or you want to wait, you can also apply through the SBA, the Small Business Administration. I will tell you that the Small Business Administration has reached out to me a few times and said, how long does it take for you to process the WSB? And we're usually at 90 to 110 days. So usually after the WBE is issued, we issue the WSB. There are some Apex that have reached out and checked with us because they're at like 8 and 9 months. Now they may be pulling that back in, but just keep that in mind that sometimes going through the SBA is going to take longer than if you go through the WeBank WBE process. One of the things that comes up a lot is you have to register for the UEI. It's Unique Entity Identifier. It's a 12-digit alphanumeric number for the business. And you have to register in sam.gov. And sometimes it takes a little while to get that set up. Again, they're a little bit slower than we would like. But what you can do is go in, you start the registration, and you take a screenshot, make a Word document or a PDF of that, and you can put it into the application for the WeBank WBE WOSB. And then when it comes time for us to process your WOSB, Robbie Moore, who is our certification manager, he processes all of our WOSBs. He will send a Q&A for any updated documents that he may need to process the WOSB for you. So don't hold off on applying, especially if you know, hey, I have something coming up and they want me to have the WBE and I want to get the WOSB, but I don't have the WOSB yet. Don't let that stop you. We gotcha. So the WSB certification eligibility is you must meet the criteria for the WBE certification. If you don't meet that certificate, the WBE criteria, then we cannot process the WSB because you are not considered a certified WBE. You must have the approved NAICS codes and SBI size standards. If Robbie were giving this, he would be able to tell you exactly where to go on the website to find that. Unfortunately, I am not as familiar with the website. So if you do need that information, you can't locate it, you can shoot us an email and we can find it for you. The owner must devote a minimum of 30 hours per week to the business. They are looking at changing this because sometimes if you're a startup, you're still working 40 hours at your main source of income, and then you're starting this and you may only be working a few hours a week. So they are looking at changing that. And you must be registered in the federal system for award management, so the sam.gov. One other thing is they are checking if you work for the government or you live with somebody who works for the government, you may not be eligible for the WSB because it would be considered a conflict of interest. And I'm just mentioning that so far we've not run into that, but just keep that in mind. If you do apply for the WSB, if anybody in your house works for a government agency, you may not be eligible for that. And so some questions to ask if the certification is right for you. What is your product or services target audience? Who are you looking to do business with? I know a lot of times we talk about working with corporates, but many times that is not the target. It's other WBEs or other diverse businesses. And this could be a channel to meet with other businesses. If you're in a networking event, you can talk about what you can offer to other businesses. And this is where the corporate ideology comes in is, can your business provide quality service and our products on large contracts? And that's typically with the corporates, although there are some of our WBEs who are very large. For example, I'm sure all of you have heard of Perel. Perel is owned by Gojo, and Gojo is a WBE. They are a multi-million-dollar company. So if they do reach out to you for providing bottles for their, Perel, can you handle that, producing that many bottles or acquiring that many bottles? So those are some of the things to think of when you're looking at the target audience. The other thing is, though, if you're talking to someone about, you have an RFP, but you're not sure you can meet the requirements, if they're in a similar industry and they say, hey, if we partner on this and we collaborate, we can do this together. So that's another key, is you have a community that you might be able to hit those if you collaborate with other diverse businesses. And the big thing is, are you willing to share the details of your business? We require your legal documents and your federal tax documents. I will tell you right now, as soon as I get done reviewing the new files, because I am the one that reviews 99% of the new files, I can't tell you what I just looked at. I literally cannot tell you 2 minutes after I've done it because I have too many things on my plate. We just need to make sure on those legal documents that you are in control of the business. And on the federal tax documents, we're looking to see, does this match up with the other financial documents? Who is on, like if you do a 1065 or an 1120S, who's on the K1s? What's their distributions look like? It helps us answer the questions about ownership when we're doing the reviews. And I can't tell you, if I'm looking at your file today and you ask me tomorrow, hey, did you look at my file? And I'd be like, yeah. And you say, so how much money do I make? I have no clue. So it's a gift I have, I guess. And then, are you clear that the WB certification is a marketing tool and does not guarantee contracts? It's a marketing tool. You want to put it on all of your bids that you send out. You want to put it on your website. You want to put it on your business card. You want to go to the networking event so that you can leverage your certification and be able to talk to the other businesses. In our Catch the Wave conference in August, we have what is called Meet the Buyer. You have to be a certified WBE to talk to the corporates that are in there. And there's other programs that WeBank ORV, the other RPOs, and WeBank National put on that you have to be required to be certified. You can't be just, hey, I'm woman owned, but I'm not certified. We do have some programming that's open to everybody, and we want you to come in and be part of the community that way. But if you're not certified, there's certain things that we provide for our certified WBEs only. And so some of the benefits is access to the community, the supplier diversity and procurement executives at corporates and other WBEs that you may want to do business with. There's formal and informal opportunities to pursue business. As I said, we have a Meet the Buyer. At WeBank National, they have what they call a meet and greet, which is similar to Meet the Buyer. And those are the formal, but then the informal is the networking events, coming to a happy hour or some of the other in-person events that we do. We do try and make sure that there's time to talk to the attendees and see if you can make those connections. And I just went through that. So another thing is eligibility for regional and national awards and recognition. So when you get certified, the last thing you want to do is file it away, put it on your marketing and do nothing else with it. You want to get out there, you want to engage with the corporates, the WBEs, the staff at WeBank ORV, WeBank National. Because if you volunteer and you're out there doing the work and you're sharing your story with us, then we select the WBE star to be recognized at the national. And the WBE star, you need to be in business, WBE certified, but also what do you do in the community and what do you do for others in the area? Once certified, you can use the logo and the seal. So the certified WeBank is the logo that you would put on your marketing. The woman owned is what you would put on items that you sell to the general public. So if you make granola, the woman owned logo is what you would put on your product. The certified WeBank, again, is the marketing. And then, of course, you have the community support of other female business owners and like-minded professionals. So this is a really quick overview of the process. So you want to determine if you're eligible, 51% owned, operated, controlled, and managed by a woman or women. You want to compile your required documents, which again, those should be all of your business documents. There's a few things we ask for that may not be considered business documents. One of the things is we want your resume, and not biographies, but a resume to list out your experience, when you did it, where you did it, what your responsibilities are. We also ask for a quick history of your business, why you started it, when you started it, where you plan on taking it. And it does not need to be a 3-page document. I'm good with a couple of paragraphs to hit those high points. Then you want to log into WeBank Link, complete the online application. Then the file will go to review, and it gets reviewed 3 different times. We have an intake that we do that is done by Angela Ruff. She checks to make sure you have the documents, and she will ask you if your taxes are an 1120S and you don't provide your Schedule K1s, she's going to send you, hey, we need your Schedule K1s. We need to see what your distributions are. After it goes to intake, then it comes to staff review, which I do the deep dive on all of your documents. So when you go, oh my God, there's 46 documents, you just have to upload them. Guess who gets to read them? I do. So, and then it goes to the committee to review and make sure that we are in compliance. And then it goes to a site visit. So the site visit is a volunteer who does not have access to your file. They're going to do an interview. A lot of the questions they ask are going to be the same thing that you did on the application, but they don't have access to your file. So whatever you tell them, that's what they're going to write down. And then it goes to our president and CEO for the certification determination. She'll review all of the recommendations, the site visit, and then we'll make a decision and you will receive notification through WeBank Link once you're certified. So once you have your site visit, please allow 30 days for notification. Sometimes if there's something that comes up in the process that we need to do a deep dive on, it may go back to the committee for a review after the site visit. So we have a final discussion. I have seen a few files where the site visit determined that they were actually able to get certified. I've also seen it where the legal documents were good, but there was a lack of independence in the site visit and they were denied. So here is the cost to apply. Again, as I stated at the beginning, we are not government funded. We're a third party, we're independent. So in order for us to be able to have staff, we do need to charge a non-refundable processing fee for all of our applications. And then it is a sliding scale. So if you're under $1 million, it's $350. If you're 1 million to 5 million, it's 500. 5 to 10 million, it's 750. 10 million to 50 million, it's 1,000. And if it's over 50 million, it's 1,250. And this, you would pull this information from your tax document where it says gross revenue, and that's where we would pull it. So we do check your taxes again. So if you are making 1.4 million, it's going to be a $500 fee. So if you put that you're under $1 million at 350, you will more than likely get an email from us saying, hey, you owe us $150. So just make sure that you're looking for that gross revenue on your taxes to be sure that you're getting the correct amount in. So as I mentioned, again, we are very concerned about confidentiality and privacy. I try and talk in very generic terms about any files that have been processed. Again, the examples I gave, I remember the examples. I don't remember the businesses that those come from. So your information and security, privacy is our #1 priority. So our WeBank Link portal has several layers of encryption. Everyone that has access to your file for the reviews and even those site visit volunteers sign confidentiality agreements. We will not share your tax documents, even with our volunteers who are on our certification committee. Unless they're a CPA and we need a deep dive on, we're not sure what's going on your taxes, and that has happened on a couple of files. So the CPA that is one of our volunteers and a consultant, we will ask for guidance and they will see your taxes, but otherwise no one sees your taxes. The records are purged if the certification is discontinued. So if you are applying for certification, you have 90 days to complete that application. If you wait to the 91st day to log in, all of that information that you put in, all of those documents are gone. They're completely purged out of the system. So you have to start over. So we always recommend pull your documents together, log in, take 45 minutes to an hour and a half, load those documents up and be done. So we do not keep anything in hard copy. We also do not accept anything by email or postal service. You want to send everything through the portal. This allows us to make sure that everything stays safe and secure. One thing, if you are not the owner, or you are the owner, but you're having someone help you load the documents and complete the application, you need to make sure that that person's name is in question 17 on the application. We can only talk to the owner and the contact person to disclose any information about the status of the certification application. So your mom can't call and say, hey, I want to know what's going on, because if mom's not on there as a contact or the owner, we cannot talk to them. It has to be either the owner or the contact person. Again, keeping everything as safe and secure as we possibly can. And then when you first log into WeBank Link, so if you go to webank.org, there is a place where you can click on the WeBank link and it will open up this web page. And then When you apply or renew for certification, you'll come down to the bottom and click on that box. If you have questions, you can contact support here up at the top. If you're having technical issues, there's a technical support button. If you have a question on the status, there's another button to click for support on there. And they also, one thing I want to point out, they have system training on how to use WeBank Link. WeBank National does this. So I highly recommend attending one of those sessions because it will teach you how to use WeBank Link so that you can go and, hey, I need a construction business to, do sidewalks for my new building. You can go in to WeBank Link and find those, and they will go over how to do that. You can also reach out to the corporate supplier diversity person through WeBank Link. And this is what it looks like. I will tell you right now, staff does not see this part of it. So if you call us and ask us a question about something specific, we may have to set up a one-on-one with you so that you can share your screen so we can walk you through the steps, because this is not what our side looks like. So this would be your dashboard. And this is actually 2 screens on one slide. So one of the things is the key actions is if you need to get back into your certification application, you want to go under key actions and click on that link. And then it will open up and it'll show you what you need to complete, what documents are needed. And then if you need to come back in and you need to complete it, then you can click on process. And so when you open it up, this is what it will look like. There are some questions at the beginning, and then it'll start asking for your general information, and then you'll upload the documents and then process. And I will tell you that sometimes it'll say upload the document, and then you have to confirm that you are uploading that document, just as an FYI. When you are done uploading your documents and answering the questions, down at the bottom, there's a signature, and then there's a submit button. So when you go through this process, you will start to close out the application. You're going to sign it, you're going to pay, and then you're going to submit the application. Sometimes people will submit without, will forget submitting the application. If you decide that you're not interested in this, or we return it and we're asking for a document that you are not interested in providing to us, you can hit delete application. But be careful, because once you delete it, it's gone and we can't do anything to bring it back. So getting started documents. We put a QR code in here because this way, if you're watching this right now, you can scan that and you can start to see the documents that will be needed. And WeBank does list them out based on if you're a sole proprietor, if you're an LLC, if you're a corporation, the documents that are required. So we do ask for legal and governance documents, owner eligibility, financial structure, and your personnel. So I'm not going to go into a deep dive on this because you can pull that up and look at it. And if we have questions on it, we can talk about that. Annual recertification is not as arduous as the initial new application. Like I said, we usually ask for 44 to 48 documents. If you are like a large company, you may have 50 to 100 documents that we need to go through. But when you go to the recertification, it's just basically updating the sworn affidavit, your user agreement, providing the current year's taxes, your W-2 if you have one, and then if there's been any changes and any updates in loan agreements or lease agreements. One of the things I do want to tell you on taxes, if you do, so like say next week you go to apply, and you don't have your 2023 taxes completed, we need your 2022 taxes and the extension for 2023. So brand new businesses, there's some documents that if you're brand new, you may not have. We need all of your governance and eligible documents. So your registration with the state, if you're an LLC or a corporation, your contribution of capital, it can be as a screenshot of your first check. If it's sweat equity, then you want to put in there, used resources. I already had a hand in its sweat equity because I've just been digging in and doing the work. 3 full years of your federal tax returns. Again, if you do not have federal tax returns for the business, we would need however many years of your personal taxes. And it's the federal taxes, not state taxes. So if you've been in business 1 year and you're filing with an 1120S, we need the 1120S with your Schedule K-1s, and then we need 2 years of your personal taxes. And this is for any of the owners that have more than 10% ownership in the business. So if you have 5 people that have ownership and they all have 20%, we need everybody's taxes if you are a new business, and only have like 1 or 2 years of the business taxes. So we need a balance sheet and a profit and loss statement. If you are a startup, you may not have a profit and loss statement, and that's okay if you're under a year. The balance sheet you should have, because that will tell you where you stand as a business at that moment in time. Profit and loss is basically like a year. For me, non-CPA person, is basically what your business looks like through the year. But of course, sometimes it takes a little bit to get those going. So some things that may not apply, W-2s. If you are a sole proprietor or a partnership and you only use, not a partnership doing the 1065, but you're a 5149 with your spouse, you won't have a W-2 because you're going to be filing with a 1040 Schedule C. If you file with the Schedule C, you should not be getting a salary from the business because you're getting the profits from the business. If you're an employee, if you are the only person doing the work, you will not have a list of employees. You might not have payroll documentation. And that's fine. You just want to upload this does not apply and why it doesn't apply. So for example, if you don't have a W-2, you're not taking a salary, or you're filing with a Schedule C. Lease agreements, if you are a home office, you're not going to have a lease agreement. Loan agreements, you may not have that because you're a startup or you've paid off all of your loans from when you started 10 years ago, and that's awesome. Just in the statement in a Word document explaining why it does not apply to the business. And that's in the first part of the section. There's another section where we ask for some other documents. If it doesn't apply, there's a button that you can click to hit not applicable. Please hit the button that says not applicable, because if you upload a document in each of those spots, we have to open every single document to check to say that it doesn't apply to your business. So just keep that in mind. That's on the second, I call it the second part of the statement, and it's usually where they're asking for the lease agreements and loan documents. So 10 tips for quick and easy certification process. Create the profile, submit as many documents as possible. I'd rather have you submit something to me that I don't need than have to go back to you and ask for something that I do need, because that will take time and it will delay the processing. Submit the application within 90 days. We are on a 90-day thing here at WBEC ORV. Submit the application within 90 days, allow 90 days for your application to be certified. And when you go to get ready to recertify, start the application 90 days before it expires. Make sure your bylaw agreements support the female control. So really read those documents through quorum, voting, removing directors or manager, who the manager of the business is, who has the highest title, and is it a female? Have female owner review everything before signing and submitting. So if you have someone else that is doing the document upload, the female owner is required to read through it and make sure that everything's correct, because if they upload an operating agreement that's out of date and it says that the business is 50-50 male-female, you will be denied. But your new operating agreement says something else. It's a 5149 and it has the female control. That would be a certified. So make sure female owner is reviewing those documents before signing and submitting. Pay the processing fee. We recommend by credit card because it's automatic. If you send a check, not only do we have to wait for it to get to our PO box in Columbus, Ohio, then it has to get to our accounting team to go to the bank and get deposited. And if there's any issues with it, we cannot start the process until that check clears. So it could be a 2 to 3 week process for a check. So we always recommend use a credit card whenever possible. Whitelist the email WeBank link at webanklink.org. Staff will communicate through the system to you about your application on all levels. And we prefer you to reach out to us through the system as well if you're needing status on something. Send all responses to Q&As through WeBank link and request for documents as one response in a timely manner. And then that goes back to try and give us as many documents as you can. Be flexible when it comes to your site visit. The site visit is one of the last steps for this process. And the sooner we can get it done, the quicker we can get the determination out to you. And remember, the entire process can take 3 to 4 months. We are aiming for under 3, but if you're getting the WSB, it may take a little bit longer for the WSB to be included. So site visits, again, be flexible. The volunteer is donating their time to meet with you to go over your business. They do not have access to your file. They do not know what the decision has been recommended or what it is going forward. Once they do the site visit, they're done. So you would always want to reach out to staff if you have questions after the site visit, preferably through WeBank link. And then site visits are conducted virtually except for distribution, manufacturing. If you're in a shared space with another business that's not a WBE, and when I say shared space, if you have an office in an office building or an office in a co-hatch, that is not shared space. Shared space is when you and your husband have a shared work area in an office. So your husband's desk is maybe in another office, but you're in the same building, like same area, that's considered shared space. So like if you can walk across the hall and ask him a question, or he can come into your office and pull files, that's shared space. And then if there's something on the file that is questionable, or we have a volunteer who says, I think this needs to be done in person because we have questions and we need to see this, that may also determine an in-person site visit. Otherwise, all of our site visits are virtual. If you're a home office and you're in distribution, we may ask to meet you where the distribution is, unless it's out of the country or in a really far away state. Then we may ask for a video to be sent to staff. So what comes next? The certification opens doors. You come to the events. Again, upload your certificate to supplier diversity portals. I know when I was in corporate, we got a lot of pushback. What do you mean I have to go to the portal and upload this? Like, we would actually have people on staff that weren't in supplier diversity that would use that to look for diverse suppliers. Some of the diverse certification agencies don't have a lot of licenses. So this is one way that the corporates are able to like pull all that information and put it in place. Check out the corporate and government member online directory. See if there's anybody there you want to meet, where they might be going. Disney goes to WeBank West. That's how I met them. Market yourself as a WeBank WBE. I will give you an aside. If you're at a WeBank WBE event, you don't need to say like, I'm a woman-owned business, because we're going to figure that you probably are if you're there. Attend the national conference and business fair in June and the WeBank ORV Catch the Wave conference in August. This year, we are going to be in Cincinnati, Ohio, August 26th through the 28th. So mark your calendars. And then you can join the WeBank ORV committees to support programs, awards, certification, and more. Certification, you need to be certified more than 1 year to be part of our volunteer group. And I will tell you, certification committee is integral to the WBEs being certified. We cannot certify WBEs without the certification committee. And this is your team. So we have Lenny Smith, who is our president and CEO, Dr. Kitiana Lowe, or Dr. K, who is the director of administration and programming. Then there's myself, who's the director of certification outreach. Stephen Easley is our fractional chief marketing officer. Angela Ruff is our certification specialist. Robbie Moore is the manager of certification. And then we have Byron Stallworth, who is our corporate relations consultant. And then this is how you can reach out to us. We also have a QR code that can take you to, I believe, our website. And then we have our new phone number, which is 888-860-3074. Listen to the extensions, because if you have a question about programming, programming has their own extension. My extension is 102. And then you can also email info@webankorv.org. I check this box every other day. And if something comes through for programming or events, I forward it on to Dr. K. If something comes in about marketing, I send it on to Stephen. If it's about certification, then I will either answer it myself or I'll assign it to Angela or Robbie. So with that, are there any questions?
So far, I'm good.
Okay.
Can you put in the chat the requirements or the documentations that we need?
So I'm going to scroll back up to the QR code for that, because I don't have a full list in this. Oh, sorry, I went too fast. So here is the QR code that will take you to the documents that are needed. Again, it's based on where you are in your business. So if you're an LLC, you'll want to look at the LLC documents. Again, if you have questions about who, like there's like a W-2. If you're an LLC, but you don't have a W-2, you can reach out to us and say, hey, I don't have a W-2. What do I put? So I'm going to answer that right now, because if you're an LLC and you're not taking a salary, you would just upload in that space a Word document that says, I am not currently taking a salary. I'm reinvesting all of the profits back into the business. Are there any other questions?
Hi, Colleen. This is Aretha Glenn. I met you a few weeks ago, so great to meet you.
Yes.
So I am wondering, noticed that you mentioned Catch the Wave, and not WeBank certified yet or anything, but I was interested in attending Catch the Wave. But I know you said there is a part of that where you have to be certified to speak to certain businesses.
That's on the meet and greet.
Okay.
And so if you do not get certified before then, if you're attending the events and you're networking, a lot of times you can run into them during the networking. It just may be a little bit harder because it wouldn't be a one-on-one.
Okay, that's fine. But yeah, I was planning on attending, so I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, and we have been working really hard on certification. So on the research, we are processing under 90 days, like 97% of our research are getting processed under 90 days. It's usually like 45 or less. The new ones take a little bit longer, but we are at 75% of our new applications are getting processed in under 90 days. So if you have your documents ready to go, I would suggest going ahead and starting that application process. It probably wouldn't happen before August. Just because I know where I'm at right now, there's 8 applications that have just been received since May 21st. And it's June 4th. So that I've not been able to get to. I've already got 13 files in for our committee meeting next week, and there's 8 files I have not been able to touch. But I'm keeping it within under 3 weeks before when your application the intake is completed. So it would be cutting it close.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
You're welcome. Were there any other questions? Like I said, we have the conference in August. We also have a construction logistics event coming up in October that's going to be in person. So if that's an area that you're looking to expand your business in, I would apply for the WOSB when you apply for the WBE. And you should, if there's no hiccups in the processing, be certified by the time that event rolls around. But we have some other events coming up as well. And those would be on our calendar on our website. And it's 12:03, so I am gonna stop sharing my screen. And if there are no more questions, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. Apparently, I got really talkative on this. And again, if you have any questions, you can email us at info@webecorv.org, or you can call the number, and we can see what we can do for you.